It is March 3rd, 2023, and today I'm talking about the Marshall Megasite. Many of you may be aware, it's been in the news the last couple of months actually. Ford is going to do a site development in the Marshall area, and they're going to partner with a Chinese-based company called CATL to develop and manufacture battery parts for the automotive industry. So I did oppose an appropriations bill that was in the Senate this week, and I wanted to talk through kind of the circumstances of what's going on and why I opposed that appropriation. It's probably worth noting to start out with, I'm not opposed to site development. I'm not opposed to locals determining what they want to do in their community, but when the state gets involved in whether or not it wants to allocate funds to support those projects, that's kind of where I have to take a stance. And looking at the terms of this specific deal, I think it's a bad deal, and I want to explain why. So there's three main reasons as to why I don't like this deal. First of which is the overall cost. If you look at how much this is costing taxpayers, the overall bill, at least for now, is $1.7 billion. That includes some local incentives and it includes some direct state appropriation dollars. So if you look at this kind of top level, for 2,500 jobs, you're looking at $680,000 per job. I've never seen anything like that. It's way overpaying for what we're getting here out of this project. On top of that, what kinds of jobs are we getting? What's the average salary that's going to be implemented here? Well, the estimates that I saw was that it would be $45,000 per job. If you look at the median income for Calhoun County, where Marshall is located, that is 15% below the current median income. So not only are we overpaying for jobs, the jobs that we're paying for are not even at the median income level of that area. So number one, I think we're totally overpaying for this. Number two, there's national security concerns. As I said earlier, CATL is a Chinese-based company. This project was developed in a way, or constructed in a way, so that advocates could have plausible deniability in saying, well, this Chinese-based company is actually not going to own anything. Well, that may be true, but this Chinese-based company is without question going to benefit from using Michigan taxpayers' dollars for this investment. And I just don't think that's right. There's many reasons in why we shouldn't be partnering with Chinese-based companies. The whole reason we're trying to onshore production is to reduce our dependence on China, and this does the exact opposite. It increases our dependence on China, so we should be moving in the opposite direction. Lastly, this is kind of more inside baseball of how this rolled out in Lansing. There was completely no transparency really at all from a legislative perspective on how this was rolled out, and were there any questions that were even answered for this process. I received an email with the contents of the bill probably about 15 minutes before we had committee. In the committee process, I asked a very basic question. I asked, there's $300 million for infrastructure development. So I asked the question, this is a large amount of money that's going to be used for making infrastructure improvements in my community. A lot of people in my community want to know what's going to happen. So could they explain how this money was going to be spent and what changes were going to be made? And I was told that was not in the bill, the specific details, and if I wanted more information, I should reach out to the MEDC. That is not a satisfactory answer. This is definitely putting the cart in front of the horse. There's other questions too that are very unanswered right now. Specifically, I think one of the most important ones is, what are the terms behind this 2,500 jobs? Is there any clawback provisions if the company does not live up to the terms of keeping that number of jobs? And how long is that time period that they need to have 2,500 jobs? Is it 5 years? Is it 10 years? Is it 1 year? What is it? Well, we don't know. and it's probably likely that the contract hasn't even been signed yet between the employer and the state of Michigan. I don't even know who's making those contracts. I don't know if it's being done between the local level and the employer or the state level. So there's a lot of questions. There was not any transparency. So it's hard to vote in support of something when you don't even really know what the terms are of the deal. So um, that is it. That is a quick update on the Marshall project and why I was opposed to it. I know that there are mixed thoughts on whether or not this was a good project, and I landed on the side of it's not a good deal. We overpaid. There's national security concerns, and frankly, there's a lot of information we just don't know. So I appreciate your time, and thank you, and God bless.